Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design, and I'm glad you could join me here today. Today I'm sharing this darling little peekaboo baby girl tag album that I've made for the latest challenge at the Frilly and Funky Challenge blog, which is sponsored by the Funky Junkie Boutique. I've used lots of pretty papers, some handmade flowers, loads of Tammy Tutterow dies, and we'll take a look inside in a minute, but I just want to show you briefly the materials I used to make the tag. So for the papers, I used these very pink and shabby chic peekaboo baby girl papers from Kaisercraft. I just love the soft vintage images and the tiny prints and patterns, and I thought this would work really well with our April Showers challenge. So that's the papers. Then for the dies that I used, because this is a die cut album, I used Tammy Tutterow's Shortie Tags die, which comes with the base die, and then a bunch of different little inserts that you can do to make a shaped edge, and you'll see that as we look at the project. Then I also used her mini tag book die, and I used this to kind of create a mini album within a mini album. And I used both the cover and the insert pages, and so we'll talk about that. And then to make my flowers, I used the Shabby Posies die, and I also used the leaves from the Pom Pom Posy die. And for little accents throughout the album, I used the Shortie Tabs die. And you'll see it just as it makes a cute way. I use them for hidden journaling spots and that sort of thing. To make fun little tabs on turning my pages, I used both her tab set 1 and tab set 2. So I also used a chipboard piece from Southern Ridge Trading Company called Birds and Branches. So here's the cover. Each of these little tags measures about 3 by 5. There's 3 by 4.5, right around in there. So it's a petite little album. It's a perfect thing to give to a new mom to use as a brag book or a grandma. On the cover, I've layered up my papers. I've made lots of ribbons. This is crocheted lace from May Arts that you can get at the Funky Junkie Boutique. And then the felt flowers, I use wool felt, and then I use Tammy's die, layered these together, and to make these sweet little rosettes, I just used the flower layers and then glued the front side of one petal to the back side of the next and kind of cupped it with my hands, and then filled it with these stamens that you can also get at Funky Junkie. Very quickly, the treatment on the branch, I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera, but first I colored it with distress crayons from the neutral set and kind of just rubbed that around. And then I went over that with a coat of distress crackle paste. And the cool thing about that is as it dries, some of that distress crayon color kind of leaches up into it, but behind it you get this wonderful crackle by having the dark on the back. The sweet little bird I just paper pieced and covered with designer paper from the collection. And then just to go along with the pink theme of this album, I tapped it with a little Tattered Rose Distress paint. So we've got little icons, lots of beautiful shabby ribbon. And then to make the mini album within the mini album, I went ahead and cut another little book from, hold on, I'll just show you. This mini tag book. So, and it's very easy to use. The insert and the cover are in there. And then I just tied it shut with this pretty little pink and white ribbon. And this opens up, and here's the cover actually becomes a mini album itself. So you open this up, and I've decorated it with elements from the paper collection. Instead of just gluing this to the page, I created these little hinges by cutting 1-inch wide paper, scoring it 1/2 inch, then gluing half to the book, half to the back of the embellishment. This way you can put your little 2 1/4 inch square photo right in here, cover up the hinge, but it's like an extra layer of decoration. So these pages are all done that way, just really cute. You can do a little journaling right here, dates and names and that sort of thing. You could put birth weight, all of that on this. So I love this cute little vintage bunny rabbit. So that's the cover, which becomes this little mini book. And then it's bound with an O-ring. So you're just going to flip the O-ring, and that brings you to this second page, which is again decorated with some laces and ribbons and things that I had in my stash. I stacked up here are some elements from the collection, but this is a postcard from the collection. This is kind of a fun tip. Just score it, and then you can put a photo here. You have your little sentiment here, and then this is one of those cute little tabs that I was telling you about, and I just glued this down. What a great place to put hidden journaling, a little message, a memory, and I just die cut this from a little scrap piece of paper, but it adds so much to the design. This is one of my favorite pages. This is the second tag. There are only 3 tags in the album, but you can probably get about 20 photos in here, even though they're so, even though it's fairly compact. I used that crackle paint again on one of these binder clips, Tim Holtz binder clips. And then I used the insert part of the mini tag book to make these little pull-out tags. And I topped each of these. Remember I showed you these tab sets? I topped each of these, or put on the side a little pull tab with a vintage button. And then each of these little booklets opens up. I promise it opens up. There you go. And there's room for photos. And then I just stacked them in this pocket, which I thought was such a cute way to display the photos. And then, of course, on the back part of the page, you can put a larger photo if you want to. The pocket that I made was just a border piece from the paper collection, but I think it's nifty the way these all stack together and then just fit in the pocket. It's kind of interactive and fun. So then this page flips over, and this is the back side of the second tag. I fussy cut this adorable baby girl out of the paper collection and then just glued her along the bottom so that I could tuck another one of these little insert booklets. They look like little matchbooks. I think they're so sweet, and I love the little decorative tabs. And then this is just an ephemera element from the collection that you could put a picture here and a picture here. And then this brings us to the last page in the album. And again, I've used the insert from the mini tag book to make a book within a book. This one is held shut with another clip that I painted just with picket fence. And here's where I've used these little tabs again. I just think they're so sweet. And I always leave these open underneath so the photos can go underneath. But they make it a cute way to turn the pages, and each is decorated. And then on the back, of course, you could put a larger photo or just leave it as it is. So that's basically, that's it. It's a pretty quick album to put together. I think I spent an afternoon on it, and it's just always fun to work with baby images in the springtime. I hope you'll join us over at the Frilly and Funky blog and play along in this great challenge. Thanks for watching, and go get your craft on.